This story comes from a man who spent 11 years investigating UFO reports for the United States government. He reviewed hundreds of cases and explained nearly all of them. This is one he never could. It begins outside Socorro, New Mexico, on the night of May 14, 1998. The desert there goes quiet after dark. A few homes scattered across open land, the highway far enough off that the silence is complete. Just after 10 o'clock, a man named Robert Anderson stepped into his yard to lock a storage shed. Above a ridge to the west, he saw a light, brighter than it should have been. He took it for an aircraft at first. Planes crossed that sky all the time, but this one didn't move. It held its position above the ridge for several minutes. And then it didn't fade, didn't dip behind the hills. It simply stopped being there. A moment later, a second light appeared farther south, burned for less than 30 seconds, and vanished the same way. Robert went back inside and thought little of it until the next morning, when he mentioned it to his wife, Karen. She went quiet. The night before, from the kitchen window, she had seen it too. She had assumed it was a helicopter and said nothing. Only now did they realize they had both watched the same thing. That should have been the end of it. But 3 days later, a sheriff's deputy reviewing recent calls found another report from that same evening. A man named Kevin Wallace, who lived 2 miles north and had never met the Andersons, described lights of his own. 3 of them, above the western horizon, winking out one by one. His times matched theirs almost exactly. Investigators interviewed all 3 separately, looking for signs they had coordinated their stories. There were none. The Andersons didn't know Wallace. Wallace didn't know them. Then a 4th witness surfaced. A utility worker parked on a service road 3 miles out that night, who had dismissed the whole subject until his own work log placed him there. When pressed, he admitted it. He had seen the lights too. Every ordinary answer was checked and thrown out. No aircraft matched the positions. No weather event. No military exercise on the books. The file was stamped unexplained. The strangest part came years later. When investigators went back to re-interview the witnesses, they expected the accounts to have drifted. Memory always does. Gaps fill in, stories grow. 6 years on, Robert Anderson told it almost exactly as he had in 1998. So did Karen. So did Wallace. The order of the lights, the direction, the duration, unchanged. One investigator left a single line in the back of the folder. Witness credibility remains high due to unusual consistency across interviews conducted over extended periods. It didn't mean they were right. It meant they were certain. And it meant no one in all those years could say what they had seen. For ordinary people, one quiet night over the New Mexico desert, lights that held perfectly still and then simply stopped existing. What was above that ridge? The man who spent his career looking never found out. And as far as anyone knows, the file is still open.